Mimi Mwai Kibaki naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
This is your Jomba. Welcome back to the channel. On March 20th and March 26th, I did two different episodes. I spoke about the 1992 general election and what it gave us as Article 138 of the Katiba. And then in 1997, I spoke about that election and what it gave us as Article 140 of the Katiba. Article 130 basically ilikuwa ni the declaration of the result, like how the process towards getting the result of the presidential election, basically kupiga kura, kuzihesabu ndani ya polling station na kudeclare mshindi wa hiyo kura ndani ya polling station. That is Article 138 part 3. And then Article 140 inahusiana na mambo ya presidential petitions. Today, I want us to take a different direction. I want us to look at the 2002 general election and what it gave us in our Katiba ya Kenya 2010, which we are going to use to remove President Ruto from office in August 2027. So, in 2002, the person who was running for president alikuwa Mwai Kibaki. And they had learnt their lessons. So Mwai Kibaki akashikana na opposition, which was basically kijana wa Malwa, Raila Odinga, Charity Ngilu, and many other KANU orphans included, who left KANU and joined Kibaki to defeat Uhuru and Ruto. So Uhuru and Ruto, for those who are new here in Kenya, ran in 2002. They were very young. Uhuru was in his early 40s. Ruto was barely 40, maybe 38, 39 hapo. And Moi thought that the country was going to basically support or vote for KANU. Most likely also thought that KANU had the ability to rig that election. But at that point in time, Wakenya walikuwa wamechoka. And I think that hata hiyo kuchoka ya 2002, because I was a child then, I was I think 16, 17 years old. Hata hiyo kuchoka ya 2002, bado haifikia 2026. So you can just imagine how angry people and tired people are today compared to 2002. And still, President Kibaki and his united opposition team, let me call it a united opposition, basically defeated KANU, Moi, Uhuru and Ruto and the old deep state system. Kibaki garnered 3.6 million votes versus Uhuru's 1.8 million. And Nyachai also ran on a tribal ticket ya Wakisi na akachukua kura zao 345,000. This was 62% of the vote. 62% of the vote. If you go back to those videos ya March 20 na ya March 26th, so our 92 elections and 97 elections, they had one common factor. Moi won the election with 36% of the vote in 1992 and with 40% of the vote in 1997. 92 alipata 1.9 million votes and the united opposition ya then ilikuwa imepata 3.45 million. In 1997, Moi alipata 2.5 million votes. United opposition ya 1997, Mwai Kibaki, Raila Odinga, Charity Ngilu, kijana wa Malwa, walipata 3.7 million votes. So it is very clear that Moi was operating on a minority rule. Sawa, we can say that he was legitimately elected as president, but he did not have what is called a popular mandate. So what did the election year 2002, what did it give us as Kenyans, sawa, katika hii katiba mpya? What election ya 2002 ilitupatia is Article 138, sawa, Part 4A and 4B, which says a candidate is declared president if they receive more than half of the votes cast. So kwa wale ambao huwa mnasikia 50% plus one vote, sawa, 50% of the vote plus one vote, this is what means who receives more than half the votes. So watu wengi sana huwa wanachanganyikiwa, huwa wanafikiria ni 50% plus 1% of the vote. It is 50% plus one vote, which is basically a simple majority to avoid a situation whereby Kenya is being governed, sawa, the way Moi Ali governed Kenya with a minority mandate. Sawa, and that is the reason why we have it enshrined in the constitution that in the first round of elections, a candidate must get at least 50% of the votes cast plus one vote, a simple majority for them to get a mandate. And that is why on this channel, every time I come here, I'm always fighting for one vote. I'm not fighting for 10 votes. I'm not fighting for 1 million votes from Kenyans. Mina pigania kura ya Mkenya moja peke yake, because that one vote is going to give us a president in 2027 who is not Ruto. And then apart from your simple majority, they also said that someone must get at least 25% of the vote. A candidate must get at least 25% of the vote in how many counties? In more than half the counties. So kama counties ni 47, so divide by 2, that is 23. So 24. You must get at least more than 25% of the vote in 24 counties. How does this relate to us today? Today, sisi tuko na President Ruto, who is the incumbent, and we have opposition, sawa, which among others, iko na Rigathi Gachagua, iko na Kalonzo Musyoka, Fred Matiang'i, Boniface Mwangi, Ruben Kigame, David Maraga, Kia Omtata, Edwin Sifuna, and I don't know if I've exhausted all the candidates. I mean, kama sijamtaja candidate wako usije kwa comments kunitusi. So I am not drumming anyone's for anyone's support hapa. Mimi hapa tu niko hapa ku-educate. Sawa? So the trick yenye President Ruto atatumia kushinda kura ya 2027 is he's going to make sure that Rigathi Gachagua amesimama kura, sawa, to take away that Mount Kenya vote. If that is how he's operating in tribal lines, he will make sure that Kalonzo Musyoka amesimama kuvunja nini? Kura ya Eastern, ya Wakamba. And then, of course, David Maraga lazima yeye atasimama for the sake of his supporters, sawa. And I don't know much about the rest, but I can guarantee you billions of shillings are going to be thrown in the way of Gachagua, Kalonzo, sawa. Those are our biggest threats in August 2027. Because hao ni watu wako na njaa and they are extremely greedy. So, once these people stand against President Ruto, and we have a candidate, for example, the people's candidate now, like Maraga, ama Sifuna, ama Okia Omtata, it will be very difficult for anyone to win outright. So to meet Article 138 Part 4A. Sawa, ya 50% simple majority. That constitutional threshold hakuna mtu atafikisha. Hata kama ni Omtata atashinda, hata kama ni Sifuna atashinda, they most likely will win with a 44 ama 45% of the votes cast. So that means we have to go to a runoff. What does the constitution say about a runoff? Article 138 Part 5 is a fresh election is held 30 days after the previous election if none of the conditions in 138 4A and B are not met. So you guys understand where we are. We must have a united candidate by Kenyans. Kenyans must decide by August 2027. One person who is going to stand against President Ruto, and this person, sawa, must be supported by each and every Kenyan, including the rest of the opposition. And by the way, don't be worried much by akina sijui Gachagua, akina Kalonzo, all these people, kina Matiang'i. Sawa? These guys, by the way, if Kenyans, we decide that we are saying that we tunasimamisha whoever, candidate X, and we say X must, this is our candidate. It doesn't matter what Ruto does with akina Uhuru Kenyatta and akina Rigathi Gachagua and akina Matiang'i, akina all these takataka useless greedy politicians. So it doesn't matter. As long as Wakenya wamefanya nini? Wameamua the same way waliamua 2002 to stand behind Mwai Kibaki. Because it needs the people. This is the work of, ni wananchi waamue waseme ya kwamba no, we are going to go after this seat, sawa, with candidate X. I do not want to say, for example, Omtata ama Maraga ama Sifuna ama even Gachagua hata Kalonzo, because my viewers wengine wenu unajua, I understand mna support mtu specific. Sawa, wengine wa mnakuwa wakali kwenye comments, sawa, and I look like I'm losing my objectivity here, and I don't want that. So I want us to focus on the prize. The prize is that Article 138, 4A and B give us the pathway to understand who and what and where and when is going to be the candidate for 2027. So election ya 1992, election ya 1997 na election ya 2002 have played a very important role in the constitutionalization of our election. Sawa, eh? Yani upigaji kura na utendaji wa kupiga kura uko kikatiba zaidi, ili kulinda kura yangu mimi moja na kura yako wewe mtazamaji wangu, kura yako moja. Sawa, our vote is protected in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and the framers of the Constitution were very deliberate wakisema ya kwamba Form 34A, the result of the presidential election is declared inside the polling station. Sawa, the reason why walifanya hivyo ni kwa sababu 92 masanduku ya kura yalikuwa yanazungushwa nchi nzima yakienda yakijazwa kura za KANU. Sawa, and even if however much vigilant the people were, for example, in the places where Matiba, Kibaki, Jaramogi came from in 92, ambapo wakapata kura zao, sawa, bado yule jamaa aliiba pahali ambapo kulikuwa na, especially kama huko kwao Rift Valley, jaza masanduku, Coast Province, I am sure, because mimi ni mtu wa huko, I saw that when I was a child, I heard about it. Sawa, 97 was the same thing. 97 was the same thing, but sasa 97 ikatupatia Article 140 ya presidential petitions, the conduct of presidential petitions, kwa sababu Mwai Kibaki challenged Moi in the High Court. So he petitioned against the win of President Moi, na akanyimwa ile petition kwa sababu he did not serve Moi personally. So you see, each and every step of our democratic process in Kenya has given us a very detailed and documented procedure ndani ya constitution yetu, katiba yetu. And the reason why we stand today here, people like me can be able to come here and speak like this to you without fear, is because of our katiba, our constitution of Kenya 2010. And every day, believe it or not, President Ruto wakes up an idea of how do I decimate this constitution kuhakikisha ya kwamba haitaona 2027. How do I increase my term limits? Ukimwona President Ruto anamka anaongea kuhusu sijui 7-year term, sijui 7, I need 7 more years. He knows what he's saying. He knows what he's saying. He wants to go after the constitution. Shida ni kwamba ni sisi wa Kenya ambao tumefanya nini? Tumeweka block. And katiba yenyewe pia inside itself imekuwa built na blocks za kuweza kufanya nini? Kuzuia wakora, wanyang'anyi, wezi, wauaji kama Rais Ruto. Sawa, kufanya nini? Kubadilisha ile katiba kiholela holela. This is your Jomba Mwabili Mwagodi. Thank you very much. You guys, nataka kuwashukuru sana for your support. Kila siku nikiamka, you guys give me very positive comments. You guys are always sharing my content, and you guys are always, speaking good things about me. In fact, the reason why I decided to do this episode today ni kwa sababu jana kuna mtu alifufua hiyo episode ya 1992 elections. Sawa, nilikuwa nimeupload March 20th, and overnight it has over 200 views. Sawa. So I want to thank you guys for your support, you know, and we shall continue educating each other. Today was civic education, voter education. Tuachane na hii mambo mengine yote ambayo inaendelea, vurugu mingi nchi, vurugu hazitaisha. Believe it or not, leo by the end of the day there's going to be a bigger scandal, better scandal, engineered by who? President Ruto. So wherever you are, whoever you support, so whether you're supporting Maraga, supporting Gachagua, supporting Sifuna, you're supporting Omtata, Boniface Mwangi, Ruben Kigame, Fred Matiang'i, doesn't matter who you support. Just to know, by the time tunafika August 2027, all of us must be psychologically prepared to unite behind one unifying candidate, and we rally all our support behind him. This is your Jomba Mobili Mogodi. Asanteni sana. The number is 0799428109. Weka M-Pesa hapo to help me fund activities ya hii channel. Asanteni.